Hello everyone and welcome back to Story Studios. In the past I've made some videos on some tips and tricks on etc. how to start a Lego collection, how to start mock building, how to make that more advanced. So today I decided to make a video on how you can improve on your alternative builds. This is my most recent creation. As you can see, it doesn't look that good. So unfortunately this is the example I have right now because all the other alternative builds I took apart into pieces so I could build this. But anyway, I'm going to be going over pretty much the process in which I use when I'm trying to make an alternative build using the set, what I look for, the techniques I use, or the strategy. Before I get into these steps, how about you like, comment, and subscribe, please, and thank you. The channel's been growing a lot recently, and so all of your support is more than welcome, and a huge gratitude to you all. Thank you. All right, everyone, let's get into it. So in this bin, and including this, is 15 battle packs worth of pieces. These battle packs specifically. I've been doing a lot of alternative builds from these, but I've done alternative builds in the past, so this isn't the first time I've done them. So step one, before any alternative build, you're going to want to get all the pieces and you're just going to want to lay them out in front of you, and you're going to want to organize them because you need to know exactly what every piece you have available. Now, part of what I like about alternative builds from a certain set is that it limits your options. Now you might be thinking, Nathan, why is that something that you like? That sounds kind of weird. But I mean, if you think about it, sometimes there's just way too many options. You know, sometimes I'm looking at my Lego wall and it's like, well, I want to make this and I just have so many pieces at my fingertips. Alternative builds are really good exercises because it forces you to think, because something that you could solve maybe with just another piece, if it's not on the set, then too bad. It stretches your creativity, it stretches your cognitive, critical thinking skills, and honestly, I sometimes like it where it's like, all right, here are the parameters, because too much freedom sometimes is a little overwhelming. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Yeah, go get a job. Okay, what job? Give me some parameters, please. So it's like, okay, well, I want to make something. Here are the pieces that I have, the only pieces that I'm allowed to use. And sometimes having just limited amount of options helps me work. So, alternative builds, really nice in that way. So I'm not going to sit here and organize all these pieces, but just to give you sort of an example of what I'm talking about, you're going to get all the pieces that you have from a set, literally everything. That includes the minifigs, it includes the guns, because when you have sets like this, a gun doesn't have to be a gun. This could be a leg, this could be an arm extension, this could be a pipe, it could be wiring or something, I don't know, it could be greeblin. So anything helps, literally anything helps. Even, the stud shooters, the extra droid arms, maybe you'll have to use a droid body, who knows. So every piece is to your benefit, and don't forget about the spare pieces as well. So everything that is at your disposal is something that you are able to use. So there you go. So let's say that you've finished organizing all of these. The next thing you have to decide is what you're going to build, and this is, I think, the most crucial step, because you really have to be honest with yourself about what can I build. I only had 3 of these battle packs initially, and I wanted to build a Tri-droid, and I, completely being honest, did not think I had the pieces to make a Tri-droid, which is why I went out and bought a 4th battle pack. And you might be asking, Nathan, how did you know whether or not you can make a Tri-droid? Well, here's the thing. I was mainly thinking about the head, because the head had to be somewhat spherical, which some people who have commented on my videos have claimed that the head looks worse. But what did he say? But, if you're thinking about a sphere is symmetrical, and if I have 3 of these battle packs, you also have to pay attention to things like, are there pieces such as this piece where there's only 1 in each battle pack, or this piece where there's 1 in each battle pack? So if that's the case, if I were to use a building technique that utilized this piece for the head, I'd only have 3, and that probably wasn't going to end up working, because if you're trying to make a sphere, probably going to need an even number, and 4 is a good even number. 3 probably wouldn't do it. Now, when it came to the ATRT Walker and the BARC Speeder, or the droid carrier or whatnot, those I knew, I only need 2 battle packs, for one of those build. Smaller build, and more of the pieces in this battle pack match to the ability of making as such an ATRT walker. So after you've taken the time to organize, and after you've taken the first step, which is deciding what you're going to build, and once again, remember, put realistic expectations on, because if you go ahead and grab this and you're like, all right, I have 5 of these, I'm gonna make a Venator, be prepared to be sorely disappointed in yourself. You want to set yourself up for success. You want it to be a challenge. You don't want it to be impossible. Your next step is to break up the vehicle or the ship or whatever it is that you want to build into sections. You're going to treat it just like a Lego instruction booklet. A Lego booklet wouldn't make you build the ATRT like all at once in one like fluid motion. No, it would have you probably build the legs first and then the body. Like, even if it's just as simple as that, make the body, make the legs. You could even split the body from like the back and the front, or even like the gun at the front. You could have that as like a third part. With the Tri-droid, I focused on the head first because I knew it was going to be the hardest part, but just like the circle, the sphere. And then obviously the legs had to be the same, so whatever pieces you put towards one leg, you have to put it towards 2 others. You have to keep that in mind. So just like split up into sections, and it's just like way easier to compartmentalize. Now you have to ask yourself, how am I going to approach actually trying to figure out how to make this? And this is where some of my tips from the Lego mock video actually would come in handy, because it starts to ask yourself, okay, when have I had to build a sphere, if ever, you know, in the past, in a Lego set, and how did Lego do it? Well, you see, I have built a sphere in the past, and it was the BB-8, the buildable BB-8 droid. And the types of pieces that used was like these guys, you know, with the studs on the side, and, you know, you built one side, one section over here, section here, section on top, section on the bottom, and you just like pieced it all together. So these were the pieces I was looking for first when trying to figure that out. Now, looking at the piece arrangement that I had, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to build a sphere like that. It wasn't going to work. I didn't have enough pieces or enough variety of pieces. Just wasn't going to work. And if it did work, it was going to be too small. So just think about the size of the Tri-droid head was another factor that has to come into play. I mean, like, size is is everything when it comes to alternative builds. You have to sort of start proportioning out in your head how big this is going to be, what's the realistic like expectations. And so once you get that, then you need to start collecting pieces and trying things out. So for example, I'm just going to use the Tri-droid's head because I think spheres are the hardest thing. You're going to take all the pieces you think that you could use for a sphere. So I'm going to grab anything that's round, anything that can be used at an angle, anything like this. So this piece would be a great example. You put a clip here, it can give you a nice angle at any direction. All right, so I'm going to make sure that these pieces are set aside. I'm going to set these pieces aside. These pieces are naturally curved. This dome piece, you know, circular or half spherical. There we go. Once again, another circular piece. Who knows? These cheese wedge pieces, you know, can provide like a type of slope if you need it. These clips could go with connecting this guy. So these are going to go over there. Any piece that allows me to build up and out, just like the BB-8 droid, which reminds me of. So these pieces, the gray bricks with the studs on the side, those pieces as well. To have all those pieces that you're thinking that you're going to need to use, then you start just fiddling around. I started with making literally just a cross with 2 of the white 2x8 plates that come in this set. Just a cross, and just trying to build up and down and try to like fit these pieces in at different angles. The reason why I wanted 4 battle packs was because I already had an idea that I wanted to, you know, like use this as part of the domed top and like put them all together somehow like this. So it made like a sort of like a pyramid curved shape, and then try to like round it out using stuff like these cheese wedge pieces. So I already had that idea in mind. So, you know, you start trying to figure out how you're going to do it. You know, you start with, oh, like these pieces I can get angles with. You know, if I connect it with one of these guys, you know, I can now get this at a desired angle. It's a pretty stable connection. Boom, we're gonna do that all the way around. You know, how am I gonna like fill in this gap? You know, maybe I need to add pieces underneath or something, you know, who knows, maybe if I do this and then, add this? Does that like help round out this shape? And once again, you're just gonna fiddle around until you find something that works. And that's like the real joy. And you want to kind of keep track of your prototypes. You kind of want to be like, does this work? Why doesn't this work? How can I make it better? There is no really like, you can't really like click save on a build and try something else, because once again, you're limited to pieces. So you're just gonna want to like either take a picture, write it down or something, try something else, make sure you don't forget if you want to go back to one of the earlier prototypes. Sticking with the Tri-droid as an example, then you're going to be like, okay, now I need to build the leg part. What do I need to build legs? Boom, these pieces, perfect, because they make the legs for the Tri-droid in this set, but they're going to need to be longer. So you're going to get these pieces, you're going to get a bunch of pieces for just like greebling, I guess you would put it, or designs. So you're going to get probably like some of these blue 1x4 pieces. You can keep this sturdy, some of these dark blue gray pieces, all of this stuff for that. So you're just going to, once again, just like the head, collect all the pieces you think you could use for legs, and then just start building. But once again, when it comes to like having a ×3 multiple of just something, then you're going to want to start like separating all. So once you get all these pieces, divide it into 3 groups, because the last thing you want to do is build a leg, find out you don't have enough pieces to build 2 more, because I've been there. So you're going to want to split all the pieces you think you could use into groups of 3, and then limit yourself to 1/3 of those pieces, because that's really, in reality, those are the only pieces you can use. So you organize the pieces. Step 1, conceive in your mind a reasonable alternative build for you to do. Step 2, break the final product into big chunks. Step 3, start actually fiddling around, hypothesizing, building some stuff, getting some ideas, all that stuff. Step 4 is a caveat, because sometimes this happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. If it does happen and you get stuck, like writer's block, and you literally just can't figure it out, go look up like a Lego instruction booklet that has similar designs, or go look at other YouTubers' designs as well. For my ATRT Walker alternate build, I was watching SolidWorks Studios, and actually what I had to do in order to get my mind working, I actually just straight up built his first. You can actually see that in my video. I built SolidWorks Studios, and I was like, okay, that's how he did it. Now how can I like just make it better, was essentially my thought process. At the end of the day, I changed the legs, the gun, the body of it, all that stuff. I kept the feet though. That's okay to do, because none of this is like copyrighted, literally like put out on his video, like how to make his ATRT build. So obviously it was like free public domain. I kept the feet design, and why is that? Answer is pretty simple. I couldn't figure out a better foot design. And in the video, it's not like I stole it as my own. I gave him clear credit in the video. I said that he made the best feet design for an ATRT Walker using the pieces given in the battle pack, like hands down, because I've seen a lot of other YouTubers, how they design like different ATRT Walkers feet from the same battle pack, and I tried it myself. Couldn't do it. Couldn't find a better way. His was, I think, objectively the best, and I still have yet to find something that trumps his. And all it took was really me I needed to build his ATRT Walker just to get an idea of like how pieces could be used, how he was using pieces, what could I do similarly. I actually went back and also looked at some past ATRT Walker builds that Lego did, such as like the 501st Battle Pack, which is the more recent ATRT Walker from Lego. I actually went back and grabbed my older ATRT mock from the Lightning Squad from the Battle of Ryloth Lego mock that I did, and I took some design cues from how I built the new ones. So this was very helpful as well, just going back to like, all right, like what have I created in the past and how can that help me? Sticking with step 4, just writer's block, another thing you can do which helps me a lot is just pull up a picture of what you're trying to replicate, because sometimes like if you look at an ATRT Walker like rendered, like CGI, whatever, like you'll actually start to see, oh, like that part looks like this Lego piece. You'll start to like physically, visually connect pieces with like the actual build. So that really helps me, just like really looking at the thing, just studying it. Sometimes drawing helps me, just get a pencil and a piece of paper, just draw out some sketches and stuff. Not everyone's a drawer, so that doesn't help everyone, but I mean, you could do anything from like even watching clips of an ATRT walker, slowing it down, putting it in slow-mo, just seeing like the different parts of it, and just getting an idea of what it is. Because let's be honest, the way that you are able to build something successfully is that you need to sort of know it inside and out. You need to know how it works, how it's going to connect eventually, because if you don't have that like macro vision, then you can't really go into the micro aspect and start building stuff from these like smaller scales, because then you're going to have to place it into the macro picture again, and it just that doesn't work unless you have that vision. This isn't really a step, this is just a tip, that when you're building a alternative build, keep it simple, stupid, is essentially the motto that I go by. Because, I mean, ask yourself this, why does this set not look aesthetically pleasing? Well, it's because of the conglomerate amount of pieces and the complexity up here. Now, I had to do that. That was necessary in order to get the shape. Why does it look like cleaner in the back? Because of the fewer amount of pieces that I use. So I use a lot of the same pieces here. This is extremely simple. Didn't get too overly creative. I like from here down is really nice. Once again, a lot of this like very not a lot of different pieces are being used. A lot of the same pieces are being used. There's a lot of like balance here, not too many changes in the color palette. So if your alternative build is looking like wonky and you're wondering like, why does it look wonky? Couple things. It could be maybe the shape is bad, so maybe like the overall like appearance of it is like the figure of it is not right. You could have too much stuff going on. It's too busy. Like this door, you know, this door, you look at it, you're like, something's not right. It's because, well, first off, it's a square. I mean, it is a square. It's supposed to be a circle, and it's supposed to be a curved circle. It's supposed to be a singular colored circle. So, you know, here I would say probably too many colors going on. You don't have the right shape, you know, but this is probably like the best I could have done with the pieces that I had. This also kind of gives it a weird thing, but also once again tried to like fill in as many gaps as possible. LEGO really likes, you know, uniformity. They're very simple. I mean, look at something like this. Imagine this without stickers, without printed pieces. It's very simple. You have white stripe, red stripe, slight white decal right here, and some lime green, white, red decals right here, going in a line, red base, you know, very simple. Here, you know, you have a red section mirrored, so it's symmetrical. A huge white section with some sticker decals. Once again, take the stickers out, and just look at this for the color palette of what it is. It's not that like messy, you know. If all of these pieces up here were like, let's say, dark blue from here up, this would already look 1,000 times better. You can have some hints, you know, some decals. So like if I kept this light gray, I think that would still look good. But it's the constant back and forth of light gray, dark blue, dark gray, some hints of like maroon red in here for the sake of pieces, which is like throwing this off a lot. It's just, and then there's like texture, so too many different types of pieces in one spot. So you have like great pieces, you have these domes right here, you have flat diamonds, you have slope pieces at an angle, you have these slope pieces, different slope pieces, so they're not all the same slopes. And so if it's like it's too messy, you might want to scale it back and just rethink, okay, how can I just be a little bit more simplistic with this design? Step 5, and this is really just my advice, don't give up and don't be hard on yourself. I am going to post a picture right here of my very first ever ATRT Walker alt build, and it's not good. I mean, compared to like this, compared to the alternate build that I built out of these battle packs recently, this ATRT Walker is like awful. That's my first one, and so it's okay. Like, no one expects you to be great at it. No one expects you to be great at anything right off the bat. And if they do, then they shouldn't, because everyone needs to grow. Everyone grows at their own pace. Everyone starts somewhere. So when you're doing your alternate builds, you know, I didn't feel comfortable enough posting that on my YouTube channel. I wanted to get a little bit better at it before I did. So whether or not you like post on YouTube, post on social media, TikTok, whatever, that's completely up to you. And just let you know, like you can never please everyone. People will always have something to complain about. So if someone comments on your video or on your post or on your short or reel, don't take it to heart. I guess they're just feeling the need to criticize, I guess. If I'm gonna be honest, I think I can tell when something's good or not based on just the number of likes on a video. So I don't really need someone criticizing me to tell me if something is good or bad, because most of the time I know if something is good or bad. Like this MTT, I know that this looks atrocious. You don't have to comment and tell me it looks atrocious. I know. But this was fun. And that's the whole point, learning, having fun, being creative. Like, I get to challenge myself with these alt builds, and you can too. And this is something that should be super it should be, if it starts to stress you out, you're missing the point. So there you go, simple steps, organize pieces, think of a concept build, split the build into big parts, start experimenting. If you have writer's block, do some of those tips I just said. Keep it simple, stupid, and keep trying and have fun. That's it. And if you'd like specific tips and tricks about like building techniques and all that stuff or whatnot, you can go check out my how to begin mock building videos, parts 1 through 3, and you can go look at some more specific advice. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you learned something, and I really do mean, I would love to see your alternative builds. So if you ever make alternative builds, like, go ahead, send me pictures via Instagram or Discord or whatever, or like, I don't really care if you post links to your alternate build videos in my comments section. I could honestly care less. I think that's great that you want to share your creations, and I'll be sure to try to see them. And if you want feedback, happy to give it. All right, everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching. See you all in the next video. Peace out.